This one might be a doozy. So back when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I was emotional. And to keep it simple, the ending was really hard for me to process. And so it took me about a year to actually finally even do a written review of Kingdom Hearts 3. I waited for the Remind DLC to come out, and even afterwards I still gave it an 8.75 and said, let me read this. Seeing one of my favorite characters die was a rough ride. And I think mostly because of the emotional damage I felt and experienced during Kingdom Hearts 3, only really near the end, I kind of let that overshadow the entire experience. So this is my Kingdom Hearts 3 re-review. Let's jump in. So, Kingdom Hearts 3, we waited forever, right? It got announced at E3, way back in the day with the Final Fantasy Versus 13, name change to 15. A lot of cool things happened in the community. And we didn't really hear much about Kingdom Hearts 3 for a while. We really didn't. And then we started kind of seeing new things, and then we found out, it jumped engines, everything kind of happened, and it took forever for it to finally come out. But then it finally did, right? We finally had, this relaunch trailer. Everyone lost their collective minds. People were, they were able to make a demo and introduce it to everyone, and everyone was excited. I remember going to E3 and being able to wait in a 3-hour line to play Kingdom Hearts 3. I got to say hi to HMK and some other cool Kingdom Hearts content creators. It was cool. It was such a great experience to be with a bunch of fellow people that love Kingdom Hearts and really just kind of be excited that we're finally getting 3 after so many years of getting all sorts of games in between, which really did expand the lore, and they were very necessary, and I still completely support that they were necessary, though I really still hate that we had to wait so long for Kingdom Hearts 3. So yeah, let's get into Kingdom Hearts 3. Sora forgets everything because it's Sora. So you spend the majority of the tutorial just trying to regain powers. Eventually you make it through Olympus. You don't have the power of waking because Riku became the master and you didn't, blah, blah, blah. Normal Sora, he's super chill. He's just Sora. He has everyone's hearts in his hearts and he's still super chill. I don't get the kid, but I love him to death. I'd die for that boy. I love him. And the story just kind of picks up from there. And I recently actually replayed it again because my roommate and best friend, he's playing through all of them, and I wanted to play through 3. And just kind of reevaluate it. And so I did. And honestly, that whole game is incredible. I remember just originally playing it and just I need to know the story. And I think I was so caught up on needing to know the story that I wasn't enjoying elements of the game as much as I should have been. And replaying it, I was just kind of the combat, the graphics, the animations, the storytelling, when I already knew where it was going, is just so powerful and unique and gave me such an interesting perspective on what they were doing. And I realized replaying it that a lot of the organization, who's the new Organization 13, they're in most of every world, adding overall plot. And there's even big chunks of really important stories that happen between each world and cutscenes before launching into the next world. And so I think a lot of the criticism that all these Disney worlds feel kind of pointless to the overall story, I think on first playthrough maybe it felt that way, but honestly replaying it, it doesn't feel like that. I feel every world but one. There is one world that does not matter, but all the other worlds they do. And that world drives me crazy. I was oh, it's so pretty, it's so great, it's gonna be so much fun. Can y'all guess? Can y'all guess what that world is that really does not hold up, that did not need to be in Kingdom Hearts 3? That could have been any other world? I'm gonna give you a second. 1 second. 2 seconds. What do you think it is? It's Arendelle. Ding, ding, ding. Arendelle is the most useless, annoying Kingdom Hearts world I think we've ever had. Yes, Deep Jungle and Monstro and some of those worlds were very, very frustrating sometimes, but at least they were interesting. They were pretty, they were interesting, they were you had to figure out your way. But Arendelle's up a mountain, down a mountain, up a mountain, down a mountain, Elsa losing it, blah, blah, blah. Dumb Olaf minigame, you need to find my parts. I'm just stop it. Stop. and then you find the right part or you find the wrong, like, it was a lot. It was very tedious. So getting through Arendelle was still as rough as I remember the first time, but like the rest of the game really is like so incredibly solid and polished and beautiful, and like Nomura gave us a story that like he wanted to tell, but also I think in a lot of ways we wanted to hear. And so we go through all these Disney worlds that really do hold up, and they have that heart of what makes a Kingdom Hearts game a Kingdom Hearts game. Like, I picked up Kingdom Hearts 1 as a 12-year-old, like, oh look, Disney and Square Enix. Like, I loved Square Enix because I loved Final Fantasy even back then. Like, it's been a part of my life forever. And then I was like, okay, so two properties I really do love. And honestly, Kingdom Hearts made me fall in love with Disney. I wasn't even really the biggest Disney person until Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts made me fall in love with it. Like, and that very much still is like a beating heart of Kingdom Hearts, and especially of Kingdom Hearts 3. And I think like when we went to Pirates of the Caribbean, Big Hero 6, like Big Hero 6 is a complete origin story. Monsters Inc. is too. Toy Story feels like it is too. Like, there's so many worlds that like they kind of have their own story at this point in time. You're not really just rehashing the movie like we've seen. And so that's just a really cool freedom that they now have, and that they are so well at telling stories that it really works out in their favor. But let's talk about like the last 5 hours of the game. So again, spoilers, if you haven't beat it, you should go do that. Seeing everyone basically return was emotional. Seeing Axel like getting destroyed, and then Roxas and Xion come back, and that reunion, and Xion crying, and people finally remembering who Xion is, was so emotional, was so well told, and I'm so thankful we got that reunion. And then, like, even in the main plot of the story, like us rescuing Aqua from the Realm of Darkness finally after 10 years, and then saving Ven and restoring his heart out of Sora, and then seeing Terra get saved and reconnecting, getting his body back, like all of it was beautiful. And it was like so powerful to see them come back, and like all of the things that made Birth by Sleep and 358 over 2 days like so incredible was just those friendships and how we saw those characters come together. And at least seeing that closure for at least two of the trios was really important. I think a lot of the ways how they explained how they got their bodies back, the clone system, everything, like I think it was just very Square Enix, right? And I don't like, I mean, I don't want to play that down, like it's very Square, but it was really well told. And so like seeing that happen and then like being that emotional, and then seeing Kairi get kidnapped, I was like, are you kidding? And then seeing Kairi get killed, turned into a Keyblade, like I was just like, what is happening? And so I think like going through all that, not being able to grieve properly for losing Kairi, to beating Xehanort, seeing him like come back with Master Ericaz, like seeing that reunion, I'm still thinking about like, crap, like what happened to Kairi, like what is going on? And then seeing Sora say like, I'm gonna go find her, because that's who Sora is, right? And then at the very end cutscene, seeing Sora disappear. Like Sora's like, okay, bye, and Kairi's there, but is she there? Because it was just 3. We didn't have her mind. We really only had speculation, right? And so it was just like, it was kind of like this bittersweet thing where we see like everyone back, and then Sora like fades away. And I'm just like, guys, what are you doing? Like, I get it, Nomura, this is your story, this is your world, you're leading into the next game, but could you have like done a little bit of closure where like everyone just gets a happy ending in 3? So if you want to stop at 3, you can. But nah, he's in Shibuya, like, and Riku's gonna go have to rescue him, and in Melody and Memory, we find out that Kairi is back, right? Like, Kairi's really back, Namine's really back, Riku's going to Quadratum, like, we get all that, right? But, like, we didn't know that when Kingdom Hearts 3 first came out. We didn't. Hence my re-review, because I've had time to think about it, we've had time to see where the story is going. But overall, I think Kingdom Hearts 3, it's emotional, it sticks with you. It does everything a Kingdom Hearts game really should do. You know, like the form drives, the combat, like everything was just so silky smooth, beautiful, like held up so well. And it was just so much fun to like replay that, especially after I had beaten the game. I had the ultimate weapon, so I could go through it all, like, and just have form changes and do all the fun, crazy things. And I didn't have to worry about trophies, achievements, or even watching every cutscene, though I did. Yeah, but I think, honestly, if I really would have had, I think, more time to just kind of process everything, I would have probably rated it higher, but re-reviewing it, and upon replaying it and kind of experiencing that all again, just kind of get myself ready for Kingdom Hearts 4 and whatever that journey is going to take us on, I honestly would probably give that game like a 10. Like, to me, it's a masterpiece. And I didn't feel that way when I first played it, so if you felt that way, I would recommend replaying it. Because, again, we had so much expectation on this game. We had so much hope for where the story was going to go. And I think some people really loved that. Some people like me, like, I loved like 95% of it, and then Kyrie like gutted me. And I was just like, what is happening? So, yeah, let me know down in the comment section below, like, what did you feel about the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3? Are you still thinking about it? Like, have you moved on? Have you replayed Kingdom Hearts 3? Because if not, please go do that. And make sure to like this video, like and subscribe, share, you know, but yeah, let me know. What are you thinking? But until next time, guys, may your heart be your guiding key.